Alright guys, welcome to the second installment of the crypto drawing series, crypto tarot drawing series, not just crypto but crypto tarot. It's going to be an interesting one. We're going to be doing the Eight of Wands. As you can see, we've upped our environment a little bit. We have the card right there on the screen, so you guys can see it as we're drawing it. You can see what we're doing. Um, we have some interesting things. We got a new camera. It's going to be a little bit better. We got this top view rather than that side view. We had an angled view before, so we got a better view now. And one of the things you're going to see is hopefully a better focus here. The other one had this autofocus, kept going in and out of focus. So this is a little more of a close-up and a little better focus too, hopefully. So we'll see how this comes out. Interestingly enough, we have our pens here, but our black pen is not here today. So we don't have a black pen, and if you saw the other drawing video, you know we usually start by kind of sketching the outlines with a black pen. Well, we can't do that because there's no black pen. I went ahead and picked the Eight of Wands because it didn't have a lot of black in it, right? There's some of these, edges of the wands and the edges of the trees and stuff, but it doesn't have like these black sections. The idea is that we're going to be able to do it. We've got this gray pen here. We're going to do this for some of the outlines. We're going to see how it comes out. If it doesn't turn out, we can always just throw it away and do another one. So usually we start with our outlines. This is going to be no different. It's just we're going to use a gray pen, and we're going to see how it goes. So this is going to be great. All right, let's push this up a little bit. I usually do notice a little angle here when I'm drawing. We're going to start at the bottom like we usually do for these guys, and we just want to kind of capture these hills here, and we've got a little bit of trees. You can see some trees on there, and basically what we want to do is kind of capture the flow and the feel of that. So it starts out, it's got this little river thing. You can see it kind of goes along, the shore goes along a little bit like this. Looks like it's got a little tuft of grass there that I missed, but I think I can pop that up in a second. There's a little bit of room here, there's a little bush there. Probably goes a little more, and then it kind of goes up. It kind of goes over a little bit. Then we're going to leave room for there's a little tree there. Now the tree is really small on this, right? And so it just kind of shows up as a kind of darkish spot, but we're going to use green on that darkish spot, and we're going to use brown for the trunk on that darkish spot. And that should make it pretty cool looking. Let's see what we got here. And we have a limited color palette today. We don't have all of our pens. So we only got some of our pens, but that's okay. I think we can do it with just these pens. If we can't, like I said, here's just kind of like an olive or a darker green. I really want more of a brown. This is not, I don't think this is a great brown. Let's see what this guy looks like. We'll see if we can do a little bit of the trunk here off that one tree. Little trunk. Actually, that's brown. There we go. See that little tiny spot I put. I think if I go up the camera, it'll take it out of focus. Let's see. We do just a little triangle of brown there. Little tiny triangle of brown. And that's going to be for the top of that tree. And then let's go ahead and do the green part here. Let's get one of our green markers. I'm going to get one of the darker green markers. That's partly because this is kind of like, with this long distance, it kind of mushes it almost into a dark splotch. I'm just going to put, there we go, a little tree there. I kind of did one leaf out. There we go. I kind of want it more rounded. You can see there. I'll go ahead and zoom them up here. You can see I put little dots and stuff. Make that guy there. Okay. So he's there. And it looks like there's other couple little trees, but those trees don't go over the top, so we can continue to gray a little further, like this. Gray keeps going. And then there is one more that comes up over the top, and it's almost more like a bush. It doesn't really have a, so I'm going to round the leaves rather than dot the leaves. So it has a little different texture than the other one. It's a little more filled in. It looks like then there's another bush here. And that's really part of the line that goes over where the water is. And I'll connect them to you right here just to do that. And then it kind of just goes. There's no more bushes going over the top. It kind of goes along. I'm going to kind of use kind of more of a smooth approach. Well, that was really smooth. And then it goes up and up. Are there any more trees? There's no more trees that go over. There's no more trees that go over it. So we'll just kind of swoop down like it does. And then we'll kind of swoop up towards the end here, and I do need to hold this down. Kind of swoop up, and it goes over like that. It's not exactly the same contour as that, but that's not what we're trying to do. And then on the other side, it's got a bank like this. It's got one little like hooksy portion here, and then it goes like that. And you can just kind of go along like this. And you notice right here, it's the same kind of thing. It has one little like hooksy portion here, and it goes off. So now that's very interesting. That gray is not the same clear border as the black. Also, I've noticed I kind of want to turn more like this. It gives a better angle for my hands. So I'm just going to do that. When we fill in our wonderful aquamarine, I think I'm going to try this guy. It's not as dark a blue, and I think this doesn't really have a super dark blue. So let's just see how he comes out. One thing I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to catch the flow of the water. That's a little bit like sea green. I don't know if I like that blue. It's a lighter blue. Let's see how he looks. There we go. I like this blue lighter. That's the lighter blue. I like that better. And that's going to kind of make some. Yeah, we're kind of making some texture. Just think watery while you do it. Swish, swish, water, swish, water. All right, I'm kind of letting these little curls happen with my hand as I come across there. I really want to fill it in, mostly. So I'm going to come back and do little squiggles and stuff. Gotta follow the shore here. Water, a little swirling water, right up against those bushes. Right. You can see how turning the paper sideways really helps me here. Now I feel like our light isn't that great, and I've got extra light on here, so I'm actually going to up the light balance a little bit of the camera. There we go. Yeah, make you guys see it a little better there. Oh, I like that better. That's a nice little improvement there. I'm going to have to lock that light balance down. Yeah, that's way better. I should have done that from the beginning, but I didn't realize how dark it was until I started actually putting some of the water in there. And the blue didn't really pop. I'm like, why is this blue popping? That looks way better. Put this down. I don't need to be carrying that. And so we're trying to make like a little bit of texture with this. Feeling watery, kind of flowing with our hands. Like, oh, I'm flowing water. Become one with the water, guys. So I'm not really trying to make long, straight things. I really kind of want it to be wavy a little bit. See how I'm waving those guys a little more? I think I'm kind of getting better at the watery texture, but then it doesn't look the same as the other ones, so we're kind of blend that in a little bit. Blend in a little bit. We're going to come around these nice little corners. There we go. I like that. That back and forth action kind of might have been better than the stroke. I was kind of doing a stroke, just left to right action. The back and forth action kind of gave it a little better texture. It's okay. We're going to kind of unite and blend the textures, darken a couple spots. Once again, a little bit of waveriness to my hand there. There we go. Alright, so that gives us our water. Now we got more bushes to do. We're going to use the same dark green to do the bushes. Looks like there's a little grass here that I missed. Right? But this is dark enough to just go over the water, so that's fine, even though I didn't use a spot. It actually looks fine. It just kind of went over that gray. When you do black, it might not go over quite as well, so that's nice. And actually, there's a little bush here. And he actually does go right up to the water's edge as well as the other one. So put him there. So we got one tree, two bushes. We got one little vertical thing here, which I think is just another tree, basically. And another little dotty one here. Alright. It's mostly a plain, but it's got a couple of these little dots, these little bushes. And I'm actually just going to add a bush here. I feel like we need a little tiny bush here. Little tiny bush there. And that's it for the bushes on this. They're all over on this left side here. And that's just kind of the way it is. I'm actually going to use these two little bushes. A little bit bigger. A little more bush-like. Leaves. Kind of wiggle them around. And once again, we can kind of push it up. Here you can see how I did the texture on those. Oh, you can't unless I change the focus. But you get the idea. Yeah, you can kind of see the texture. We got some moundy bushes. We got some moundy. We got some moundy bushes. We got some tall bushes. We got some trees. Right, so a couple different textures on there. And even that one over all the way to the left has a couple grassy bits that stick up. But that's it for that. Then they actually have yellow and green. So that yellow is kind of more towards the edge, and that light green tells them, hey, there's this very light, grassy, kind of sandy look to it. So we're going to see if we can replicate that. We've got this yellow, but it might be too yellow. We got another yellow here. It's a little darker. So we're going to see if we can just do a very light yellow in here. That's pretty yellow. I don't know if I want that yellow, but I'm mostly trying to put it near the edges here. Kind of highlight the edge of this guy. Little bit of yellow. Like this. They've got these yellow swaths going even a little further out on a couple of these. Like it's yellow near the edge, and then there's some yellowish bits. You can see I made the yellow a little wider over here. And the idea is I'll be able to blend it in with the green, right, and it'll look like a shoreline with yellow sand and then kind of green grass that grows afterwards. So get that yellow in there. Let's pick a green. Now, if you watch some of the other, if you've seen some of the other art, we got two greens here. Which will we do? We'll try this one first. Well, that actually looks a little darker. Let's see. It's got a narrow point now. Let's try this one. See if we like. So we're just going to very lightly kind of go like this. Give it a texture. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, very light texture like that. What we want to do here. There we go. I notice the back and forth motion here isn't work as good as this down motion. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Giving it some texture there. And we're going to try to blend it kind of with the yellow. Now you notice the yellow does come out a little bit more in their picture, but not too much more. It's just pretty good. If you've seen some of the other ones, a lot of times I do little bits of grass, but I think this is just too high a view to show individual blades of grass, so I'm kind of smearing it and doing this diagonal thing. Smearing it down. Putting real edge on my marker, so it's not. Almost looks like a hill, doesn't it? There we go. I'm going to try to blend a little bit more, to blend with that yellow. Not to come up to it, but get a little in with the yellow. Alright, so there we go. There's our bottom. That looks pretty good, actually. I like that. And the gray doesn't look too bad as a bordering thing. Now we got some mountains. Now here's where the black lines really would help. They would help sort of delineate where these hills come, right? So it's got a hill here that comes up, over, and then it comes, let's turn this sideways all the way here. Comes up, over, and then it kind of comes down like this. It goes smooth, right? And then there's another part here that actually goes up a little higher even. I think there's a little manor on the hill there. It's going to come up and come down, and bumps up again, and comes down some more like this. And this actually is the line that goes all the way up to the sky. Now you notice I'm going to need to leave some room. This one staff actually goes all the way to the water, but I didn't leave room for it, so that was a mistake. That's okay. We'll just not kind of make it go as far. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw the staff now. Alright, so it's got a nice angle to it. It's going to be kind of straight. Alright, like this, like that. And then it's going to hit right here. It's going to go across, down. It's going to go almost really into the water here. And then we're going to do the end of the staff like this. Kind of right there. And let's draw the other side. Let's see how good we can get this. Once again, I don't really see. There's one twig in there. We'll get that in there. Definitely looks different with the black marker. But there we go. So that's our staff that kind of interrupts our lines there. Now, let's see. This one line goes all the way to the staff. Actually, both these lines go all the way to the staff. This actually splits like this. It has a line that goes to the staff. Oops, I actually went over a little bit right there into the staff. That's okay. I'll color that with some brown. And then we have like this line, a little bit of a hill here, and then we go ahead and go off the page a little hill. Okay, so there we go. Now we want to have this kind of has another like texture piece there, and then there's actually a little like hut or something here. I don't know what this is, a little hut thing here. Draw that in like that, and then there's a tree next to it. Like a little tree here next to it. We'll draw him in, and that's actually cover up some of the hill. He's actually more perched on top of the hill. You can see that. There's also some trees here on the other side of this, right there, little bushes or something. And this thing is basically a yellow, but I don't want to use the same yellow I already used over there, so I'm going to use this kind of orangey yellow. I'm going to fill him in. And just to make, I think I'm going to make it clear that that's a little structure. So I'm going to put a couple little windows in here. Now normally the windows would stand out really well with the black. This is the gray, is going to have to be good enough for that. Alright. Now, we're going to go ahead and get some more trees on here. Just like a little bush here. Right here, there's a little break in the gray, so put the bush there. And there's a big one coming, it goes up, down, kind of comes on the side here, but I'm actually going to put it in a different place because I accidentally left a little bit of gray open. There we go. There's our bush. And here, let's get our little brown again. We're going to put like a little tree here with some brown. And actually, they only have one tree that kind of stands alone there. But I'm going to make it a couple of trees, little tops of trees here. A little triangle, and a little triangle. And then we're going to fill these in. And maybe I shouldn't put them all in a row. They look like 3 lollipops all in a row there. So that usually trees don't grow all in rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put another little tree here. So they're not all in a row. There we go. And that way, you have some trees on top of trees, and that doesn't look quite artificial. Alright, now what else do we have? We got a little bushes over here. Little bush, bush, bush. Alright. Coming up here, there's a couple texture lines. That all seems right. Looks like there's 2 more little trees over here, but I kind of drew a whole copse over here, so I don't want too many. I'm going to just draw one little bush over there. We'll give him a little trunk. We'll make him a tree instead of a bush. You got a little trunk on you. Alright, so we got that. We need a couple more bushes. Let's close. I try to make sure I close my markers every time in between, right? Let's see. So what else do we want? We want, how many other bushes do we want? There's a tree. I got my copse of trees. I got those. There's a few more bushes on this other side here. So we'll draw just a little stand of wood. Let's do like that. And one little one trailing off the edge of that. There's our bushes. I don't think we need any more, no. Now let's get our yellow here. And let's go ahead and get this bank here, right? So this is supposed to be like a sandy bank. Is this the yellow we used last time? I forget which yellow we used last time. No, I think we used this other yellow. Right? No, doesn't look right. Is this yellow? I think it was this yellow. There we go. And now here, once again, this is just kind of some sand. This is the edge here. So we're just going to blur this gray line and go a little deeper. And you notice they show the sand again here, right? Right here on this edge. So like this other hill has a little sand here. So we'll put those guys on top. Put a little sand here on top of this guy. Like that. And also here, where these 2 gray lines come together, it's some sand there. There especially. And then here, actually, they don't show much sand over on this side after it gets past the thing. So that's interesting. So I did that a little different than they did. But yeah, so now we got some yellow sand in there. And there's a couple spots, like inside of here. There's a little bit of sand. Right in here. There's a couple, like, you know, the sand, there's a couple sandy spots along this hill here. So we'll put some of the yellow in here. Alright, looks great, looks great. Now we're going to do the same green mark we used for that. We're going to try to get a feel of, like, kind of grass. We're going to blend it with the yellow. Kind of mix those lines in. The other ones are kind of up and down lines. These are kind of more horizontal. I'm going to turn the paper so that happens. There we go. That's in between there. And I think, yeah, there's a few more bushes on the other side, but we can put the bushes on top of this light green, so we're just going to go ahead and keep our maroon going with this coloring. Color all of this. Nice light green. Real light green. This marker I think is running out of ink, but we can use that in the art. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That looks great. Yeah. That looks great. Okay. And here, nice hill. Maybe it's a little darker green on the hill because more of the grass grows up there away from the sandy edges of the water. Alright, so there we go. Alright, looking good, guys. That looks great. Wow, very hilly. And it's interesting, the two different sides, it's interesting the texture is a little different up here compared to down here, where it's got, you know, sort of that diagonal. Anyway, that's neat. That's neat. It's like the stuff that's closer to your vision. You can kind of maybe see the grains a little more, and the other one's kind of blurred out more. But anyway, we got our highlights. I actually, looking at it, the yellow highlights are a little strong, so I'm going to try to blend the green kind of on top of the yellow highlights a little bit, so that they kind of blend a little more, just kind of mix the green with the yellow. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Now, that looks great. Now we're ready to do our first wand. Alright, so our first wand, we're going to need our brown pens. I think we got a brown one here that looks pretty good when I did it. And if you watch the other videos, you know that we try to sort of capture, oh wait, you know, before we do the inside, it's got 3 spots where it's got leaves coming out. So let's do that first. Alright, it's got one set of leaves right here. Actually, you know, here, let's do this. Got one leaf there, one leaf there. And then here, it's got the leaf, it's got a triple leaf, 1, 2, 3. And then over here, it's actually, I did leave a little bit of room here for a couple leaves. Now, to connect the leaves to the staff, I'm actually going to have like a little brown twiggy kind of brown twig thing there. Dotted brown there. And then, here's the excitement, guys. We're going to add some leaves. So with our leaf color, I'm going to use this. It's actually slightly different green than either one of those. And we're just going to get that colored in. Nice and leafy. Nice and leafy. And you can see the difference with the leaf green and the other greens. You can tell the leaves apart. Now, here's the next thing. This is exciting. It's one of my favorite things when we do the wands, is doing these little curls. And I like to kind of figure out, okay, if it's going this way, then how are these little kind of wooden, they're kind of wooden, what you call it, marks. They're wooden texture marks. Alright, I'm just going to go like this. They've got black in there, so they're using black to show the shadow on the bottom side. I'm kind of doing it the other way. What I'm doing is I'm coming from the bottom where it's darker, and that gets more of the brown, and then when I come up, I don't necessarily go all the way up to the gray line, and then, see, I want more of a curve. I don't like how these cut lines didn't curve. It's curving a little more. And then that leaves, right here, for example, leaves a little bit of white that shows. I'm not getting a good curl. I'm going to flip the whole thing around, because I really want this curl to curl. I want it to curl. And my arm is doing all straights. There we go, curls. You know what else I think I might do? Curls like that. There we go. You know what else I'm thinking, guys? Is I'm thinking this gray. I'm thinking of just putting a little bit of brown. There we go, on top of this gray. Because brown works as well as a texture line. Or not a texture line, edge line. And the gray is so light, doesn't really work as well as the black did for that. So I'm adding a little brown here. Just, you know, showing the edge of the staff even better there. A little brown in there. Brown's a pretty dark color. I feel like right here we need a little more wood grains. A little more wood grains. That's not too bad. I love the curls on this side. They really came out, and I like how the white is open on the other ones. That's a decent wand. That's wand number 1. We're going to get 8 of these bad boys. So really now it's just 8 more wands of varying sizes with varying guys there. And the spacing is interesting. It's like there's a pair and there's another one. I think I am going to stick with the gray, but I think I'm going to do the brown. Maybe I'll just do brown and then gray for the leaves. Maybe brown for the edges. Alright, so none of the other ones interfere with the other guys, so that makes it easy. We've got a stack here, right? And do all of them go off the page? Yeah, all of them go off the page. So we're just going to bring it all the way up and off the page. And here it's kind of got a gnarled end, so we'll gnarl the end there. The sticks aren't perfectly straight, so it's cool if the sticks aren't perfectly straight. Right? There's one. He's kind of fatter than the other one, isn't he? little fat wand. This one sticks a little further, I think. Comes out. We're doing this without black. It's going to come out pretty good without the black. Some of them you're going to have black. It's not going to work. And you see how uneven. These are not perfectly straight lines. But, you know, you're not going to worry about that. These two are kind of a pair here. They go together. So the first two are kind of a pair. And by kind of holding my hand down, I'm going to get a more clear line. Rather than kind of, a lot of times you go, and that's to make it straighter, because that sort of actually make it straighter, but also kind of breaks it up. All right, so that's the two sets of two, and then there's four more. So one, this is kind of a short guy, shorty. He's long off the page. Then one, longer, two, and that's even longer still. Look at that wiggly little line there. And then number three. This is actually a little shorter. Just a little round down there. Alright, so you can see those are very wiggly lines, right? And they're not like these perfect, well, I'm good at showing things to cameras. They're not these perfect lines. They got dents in them and everything else. But that's going to be kind of ameliorated by the way we do our texturing. We'll kind of make that look better. The other thing is we do need our leaves, and they kind of have them everywhere. If you look, each one has about 3 or 4 little spots where they have 2 or 3 leaves, right? So every single one of them has leaves at the end. So we're going to do all the leaves at the end first. And we're going to do them, look at this guy, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do this guy. He's just going to have 2. Let's do different amounts of leaves and different kind of sides too. Like this guy's going to be drawn down over here, 2, 3. Whereas this guy has what? He's got him kind of mushed up against. Just 2. I would do 3 on that one. And then this guy will have 2. He kind of has a little 2 sections. He's got 2 there, and then he's got 1 separate out over there. And then this guy has a couple here. Look at the third one there. And this guy has kind of 1 here, and then 2 that are separate there. And so if you draw like I actually kind of drew it there, make some brown twigs that kind of attach the leaves. And what you'll notice, I'm trying to get some brown in there right at the base of each leaf. And this one's like a stick that comes all the way out, and then has the 2 other leaves. And let's see, I'll tell you what, I'm drawing my sticks first this time. So this guy has a guy here that comes out a little bit in the stick. And he's a guy here that comes out a little bit in the stick. And then this guy has the bottom one here. We'll put the bottom one here. And his top one's actually very far forward, but I'm going to change. I'm going to put it right here. There was a natural little bump that I had made. You don't have to do the stuff exactly. It's supposed to be, art. I'm not drawing the exact picture. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking parts where there's already a little bit of a divot from where I just naturally wiggled, and then making those into where we have these sticks coming out, right? Oh, that's an interesting one. It kind of went out in the back. There we go. And then every one of those is going to get these little leaves drawn on it. Some are going to have 2. Some are going to have 3. Right. Ovals in there. Fun. And even where I drew the lines, like some of these lines have some kind of bumpy parts or whatever. Like this guy here has like 2 different parts, so I'll put leaves on both parts. And there we go. Okay, we got some ready for the leaves there. Um, I have a feeling my hand's going to be all over this thing when I fill in the texture, so I'm actually going to wait to fill in the texture until I do my lines. Let's do the lines first. So here, once again, I really want to get my hand in the angle that I can keep doing this, right? And all of them are darker on the bottom because the light's kind of coming from the top in this picture. So if anything, I want to start from the bottom, make sure I touch the bottom, and then sometimes don't come all the way up to the top. Especially, see how there's a bump right here that goes up? I left that white space in there for it. All right. Once again, you're not trying to be perfect. Perfect is actually not only impossible, it's wrong, right? This is nature, and there's all these bumps and wiggles and everything else. And that's what makes it fun. And believe it or not, that's what makes it pleasing to the human eye, is all those little bumps and wiggles and stuff. Don't be afraid to bump a lot or wiggle a lot or any of that stuff. And this is why I didn't fill in those leaves. I don't want to smear because I'm putting my hand on top. Give these guys some nice little slightly curved. The curve goes with the curve of the stick, right? So curve kind of curves around like that. You know, sticks have little rounded parts or whatever. And just naturally, sometimes you're not going to go all the way to the edge. And that leaves nice little white highlights on the top. All right, guys, looking good. All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited. The camera work is better in this video than our first video, and even though we didn't have a black marker, the drawing came out nice. Good sets of two there, huh? Ooh, my hand's starting to zip up. Should be able to finish the piece, but definitely don't hurt yourself or over tighten your hand. Look, loosen up, little hand. Loosen up. Just relax. Just doing little guys, little zebras. Especially at the end, I really want a good curve to kind of catch the end of that stick and make it feel curvy. Not curvy. Curvy's the wrong word. Rounded. Rounded stick. All right. I really like the fact that we have this picture up here, so you guys can see everything I'm talking about as I'm talking about. That was one of the main things I didn't like about the other videos. We didn't have a good picture that people could see. We got some new camera equipment. We got some good stuff. Hands getting tired, man. Hands getting tired. Let's done with the curvy guys here. Whew. All right, two more. Whew. I'll tell you what, let's take a break from this since my hand's kind of feeling wiped out. And let's do some leaves in the meantime. Kind of, take a break from that motion and make some leaves here. Now with the leaves, you are basically just trying to fill it, but the angles you fill it at will change how the leaves, not angles, but kind of the grain of your marker make the leaves. Like even there, I went a little bit out of the line, right? But put a little tip on the leaf when I went out of line, so it actually made it look more leafy. Right? Again, and you can make it. The gray is real easy to color over if you want to make it a little bigger, smaller, whatever. I love the shape of some of these leaves. It's really cool. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take a break on leaves. On some of these leaves, just the way I went, it gives them like a texture, right? They look like their leaf is going this way or this way. So let's see if we can finish our brown here. Almost green with this texturing. Then of course the really interesting will be the sky will be coming next. Right, we're gonna have to get a really light blue, and we have been using this crayon blue. It's like this crayon thing that came with. We don't have those. We don't have all our markers basically because we're traveling. So we kind of have a different set. But that crayon blue is not an option. And last time I tried to make one, I'm going to show you guys some pictures here in a second. Actually, now that we've opened up the floodgates of talking about other pictures. Basically, it looked like it was raining. It made it look like it was raining, which is kind of cool because it could have been raining in the picture. But ooh, jumped up and down. Hold on. Let's get that camera. There we go. But I might not be able to do the sky if my marker's too dark. Basically, is what I'm getting down to. All right, let's get this guy. Let's fill the rest of these leaves. And I don't want it to look like it was raining like it did last time. I just had a really heavy marker. Looked blue. It looked like water. You know, it didn't look like. Did not look like sky. And the lighter sort of crayon guy did better. Okay, so now obviously it's a blue sky, right? And I think this is the blue we use for the water. I'll tell you what. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and leave the sky white for now until I get that crayon marker. The crayon marker you can go like this, and it's just real light. I don't know. Maybe, should we take a risk? Life's about risk, isn't it? If I could somehow know that it wasn't going to be too dark, can I do it light? Let's just try. It's too fun not to try, right? Life's about trying stuff. So we're going to try to go real light here. Does that look like rain or does that look like a sky? It's like a sky. So what I'm doing here, can you guys even see it? I'm just where's that corner? Okay, there's the corner. Yeah, you can barely, you see it, well, let's drop it. You can barely, you see right there, you can, in that corner, you can barely see that blue. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing such a light touch here. Just absolutely barely getting that blue on there. You almost can't even see the strokes. A little darker than that, there we go. I mean, that is the lightest touch. I don't know if you can see, right there. You see that red? You can see it. It's a very light touch there. That's a very light touch there for the sky. Ooh, I just did a dark. What happened is I turned the marker in my hand a little bit, and so we got a little extra blue there in that one spot. But it's okay. Doing a light touch, really light touch here. That touch is so light. I'm just barely covering it. Oh, that looks great. I love that light touch. Looks real. See, you can see it there. Very light touch there. And that's what we're going to do. Oh, God, I showed you guys, so now I'm going to turn the marker in. So it's a little dark again. We don't want that. We want this light touch all the way through. Okay, so let's start here. There we go. You can see it. Very light touch. Very light touch. Very light. Very light. Lighter than light. Which is a little sky. Little sky. There we go, and I blended it together. It looks good. Hard to not too dark. I couldn't leave it undone. The white sky just looked too unnatural to me. So, big area. It's easy to make a mistake in this big area. Plop. A big dark line in the middle of it won't look good. I don't want that. I'm going to go ahead while I'm doing these big sections. I'm just going to keep going. A little further, a little more, a little more. There we go. Wow, that is a light touch, man. That is a really light touch. You can see it, though. You can see that texturing. Same thing here. We're going to do it again. All the way down. All the way down. And sometimes a marker that's almost out of ink can actually be your friend. You can use it for this kind of stuff. This marker, if I press down, would do more, but with not pressing all the way down, it's just what I want. Perfect. Perfect. Beautiful. funny, I said it's not supposed to be perfect, and I keep using the word perfect. What can I say, guys? Hey, you can't see me when I'm working on this. I should turn this and put this down like that. There we go. Hey, guys. We're still working on our camera setup, so I didn't think of that. I think you guys should have seen this view the whole time when I was doing it, but I was concentrating on the other stuff. So we're learning. Right around these mountains. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. Very happy with that. Just say that as you're doing the picture. Just, just say it to yourself. Pump yourself up, right? I think it needs a little more on the top here. A little more. There we go. It's going to start looking like it's raining soon now if I do too much. Those lines will come through. It looks like that. Let's see. What we really want is a marker that is not so pointy. This is a very sharp marker, and that helps with this kind of stuff. But oh well. We got what we got, man. We're gone with what we got. All right, there we go. That's pretty darn good. I don't think I want to just top it with a little more, but that's okay. That's going to be it. I'm not going to do any more. All right, so that's our guy. He looks great. We're very happy with him here, just so you guys can see. Boy, I'm good at everything on the camera's backwards, but you can see there. Here's a guy a little closer. I can actually do this here, so you guys can get a really good view. Here, let's put it. Let's do this. Let's. Where's our focus? Focus is here. There we go. Now you can see up close and in focus what I'm talking about here. All right, let's get a little closer. I want our town to show. There's a town. Not town. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. See that? Looks great. All those strokes make it so interesting to look at, and it just makes it a nicer piece of art, for people to look at. You can see the sky here. So you can see those really light texture marks I did. All that stuff came out great. Those leaves look great. And as we put it back down here, focus again. There we go, focus there. As we come back there, you can see the whole thing really comes together. It really looks like this is far in the distance, and these wands are right up front. They're shooting through a blue sky. So that's what we wanted. Very happy with this. This is our 8 of Wands. Second one that was done live on a Crypto Tarot video feed. So you guys have some fun, do some drawing of some tarot cards yourself, and have a good one, guys.